In a world that constantly demands our volume, where the loudest voices often dictate the narrative, there exists a rare group of individuals who move through life with the quiet grace of a deep river. They are the ones who do not need to shout to be heard. They are the dreamers, the healers, the quiet observers known in the realm of psychology as the INFJ personality type. To possess this psychological architecture is to carry a lantern in the dark, illuminating the hidden corners of the human heart. Today, we embark on a profound cinematic journey into the mind and soul of this uniquely gifted group. We will uncover 15 extraordinary, yet subtle, gifts that most INFJ individuals do not even realize they possess. These are not merely personality traits. They are profound psychological and spiritual strengths that shape decisions, heal broken bonds, and silently transform the world. As we delve into the mysteries of neuroscience, the depths of emotional intelligence, and the poignant echoes of history, you may find pieces of your own soul reflected in these words. Let us begin this exploration of quiet majesty, stepping into the sanctuary of a mind that feels everything, understands deeply, and loves unconditionally. We begin with the 15th gift, which is the profound art of exceptional listening. For most people, listening is simply the act of waiting for their turn to speak. But for the INFJ, listening is a sacred offering. It is the creation of a sanctuary where another soul can safely disarm. When you speak to an INFJ, they do not rush to interrupt with unsolicited advice or redirect the spotlight back to themselves. Instead, they practice a quietly, deeply rooted presence. They mirror your words, validate your hidden emotions, and allow silence to do its healing work. In traditional Korean art, there is a beautiful concept known as yobaek, the profound beauty of empty space. The INFJ creates this emotional yobaek in conversations. By leaving room for your thoughts to breathe, they invite your deepest vulnerabilities to surface. Psychotherapy studies confirm that this low interruption, mirroring approach dramatically increases trust and psychological safety. It is no wonder that strangers, friends, and colleagues find themselves confessing their deepest fears to an INFJ. This gift is so natural to them that they often overlook its absolute rarity. Yet it leaves everyone who encounters it feeling lighter, profoundly understood, and touched by an invisible grace. Moving deeper, we uncover the 14th gift, an invisible radar for emotional undercurrents. While ordinary observers walk into a room and notice only the obvious, who is laughing, who is speaking loudly, the INFJ senses the unseen. They feel the invisible temperature of the room before a single word is spoken. This is not guesswork or psychic illusion. It is a highly tuned neurological response to micro shifts in energy, posture, and the subtle darting of human eyes. The Korean culture perfectly encapsulates this with the word nunchi, the subtle art of listening to the wind, of gauging the emotional state of others with profound accuracy. An INFJ possesses a masterful, almost divine level of nunchi. They can feel the storm brewing long before the first thunderclap, sensing rising tension or unspoken sorrow hidden behind a polite smile. Research in emotional intelligence reveals that teams and families thrive when someone possesses this early detection system. Misunderstandings are softly diffused, and conflicts are avoided, simply because the INFJ quietly shifted the atmosphere. They are the unseen guardians of harmony, navigating the turbulent waters of human interaction with extraordinary elegance. The 13th gift brings us to the heavy, beautiful burden of profound emotional absorption. Some people notice when a friend is weeping. The INFJ actually feels the tears in their own soul. They operate as an emotional sponge, absorbing the joy, the anxiety, and the sorrow of the world into their own nervous system. Neuroscience has mapped this beautiful phenomenon. When highly empathetic individuals witness another's pain, the anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula in their brains ignite, burning with the exact same intensity as if the trauma were their own. This mirrors the deep historical concept of Jong, the invisible, unbreakable bond of affection and shared destiny that binds human hearts together. When an INFJ sits with a broken friend, they are taking on their Han, their deep, unresolved sorrow, and carrying it for them. This immense empathy is a breathtaking gift of compassion, yet it requires incredible grace and boundaries to prevent exhaustion. To be loved by an INFJ is to know that you will never have to suffer alone, for they will gladly step into the fire with you, shielding your heart with their own. The 12th gift reveals the INFJ as the silent architect of hope. When a problem appears insurmountable, when everyone else sees only ruins and dead ends, the INFJ mind quietly goes to work. They do not rely solely on rigid, step-by-step logic. Instead, they elevate their perspective, scanning the horizon for hidden patterns and overlooked connections. They possess an extraordinary capacity for divergent thinking. Think of the breathtaking history of the miracle on the Han River, where an entire nation, reduced to ashes by war, looked at the devastation and envisioned a towering future of prosperity. The INFJ possesses this exact resilient spirit on a personal level. In a stalled project or a broken relationship, they strip away the superficial arguments and identify the true hidden barrier. They reframe the narrative. They suggest a totally new angle that brings sudden, piercing clarity to everyone involved. This creative problem solving happens so quietly with such humility that people often forget who sparked the breakthrough. The INFJ does not seek the applause. They only seek the light at the end of the tunnel. Our journey brings us to the 11th gift, an unbreakable core of moral integrity. For the INFJ, adhering to their principles is not a performance for society. It is an absolute reflex of the soul. When faced with a difficult choice, they do not weigh what is popular, profitable, or convenient. They weigh what is inherently true and just. Even if standing up for a marginalized voice brings social friction or personal loss, the INFJ will quietly refuse to compromise. This echoes the legendary spirit of the Seonbi, the virtuous scholars of ancient Joseon who valued righteousness and moral purity above their own lives. They were the bamboo that swayed in the violent winds but never, ever broke. Personality researchers using the Hexaco model have found that individuals scoring exceptionally high in honesty and humility are driven by an internal compass that cannot be bought or bullied. The INFJ is guided by this divine spark of conscience. Their quiet integrity becomes the absolute bedrock of their families and communities. You can trust them implicitly, for their soul is anchored in a truth that transcends the fleeting desires of the world. The 10th gift is their profound, unyielding dedication to a purpose greater than themselves. The modern world is addicted to chasing shallow titles, hollow applause, and temporary wealth. But the INFJ is pulled by a deeply spiritual gravity towards meaning. They must know that their breath, their labor, and their love are contributing to the healing of the world. Studies in positive psychology prove that a life anchored in profound purpose acts as a shield against burnout and despair. For the INFJ, this purpose rarely looks like standing on a grand stage. It looks like the quiet mother working endlessly to ensure her children have the education she never had, It looks like the mentor spending unseen hours guiding a troubled youth. It looks like the artist pouring their soul into a creation that speaks of eternal truths. The reward is not the paycheck. The reward is the alignment of their daily actions with the divine calling of their heart. This invisible compass grants them extraordinary resilience. When others abandon the ship because the storm is too fierce, the INFJ remains at the helm, driven by a quiet conviction that their sacrifices are weaving a better tomorrow. The ninth gift is the remarkable ability to lead and inspire without ever raising their voice. When an INFJ shares their vision, they do not demand compliance. They cultivate inspiration. People leave a conversation with an INFJ feeling a sudden, inexplicable surge of motivation, not because they were pushed, but because they felt profoundly seen and fiercely believed in. This is the essence of transformational leadership. True leaders do not force their followers. They awaken the sleeping giants within them. Throughout history, the greatest societal shifts were often ignited by quiet individuals who led through authenticity and unwavering individualized attention. The INFJ naturally highlights the strengths of others, operating entirely without ego. They spark quiet revolutions in their workplaces, their communities, and their families. They are the gentle rain that nurtures the soil, allowing others to bloom into their fullest potential. Their influence is a whisper, yet its echoes can reshape the trajectory of an entire generation. We arrive at the eighth gift, the emanation of a deeply calming presence. To sit in the presence of a healthy INFJ is to sit beside a warm hearth in the dead of winter. Before a single word is exchanged, their energy radiates a profound, unconditional positive regard. In the high-stakes, hypercritical modern era, encountering someone who offers total, non-judgmental acceptance is a rare miracle. Psychologists note that this empathic presence naturally commands the nervous system of others to relax. Defenses are lowered. Masks are gently taken off and placed on the table. It is reminiscent of the traditional Korean ondol floor, radiating a deep, unseen warmth that thaws the coldest of bones and comforts the weariest of travelers. Even in moments of intense crisis, the INFJ's accepting energy acts as an anchor, stopping the spiral of panic. Friends describe leaving their presence feeling as though a crushing physical weight has been lifted from their shoulders. They possess the quiet power to untangle the chaotic minds of others simply by offering the grace of their pure, undivided, and loving attention. The seventh gift highlights their extraordinary capability as a bridge builder in times of profound conflict. When arguments erupt and voices turn sharp with anger, the INFJ does not retreat, nor do they fan the flames. They step into the crossfire with a quiet, steady authority that immediately shifts the temperature of the room. They are entirely uninterested in taking sides or assigning blame. Instead, they possess the profound perspective-taking ability to look beneath the anger and see the wounded needs of both parties. The history of humanity is scarred by division, from broken families to divided nations. The INFJ carries the spirit of reconciliation. By asking gentle, piercing questions like, "What is it that you truly need right now?" they reframe harsh accusations into shared human vulnerabilities. They instinctively protect the dignity of everyone involved. This is the highest form of emotional intelligence. They do not just pause the fighting. They orchestrate a space where true, lasting healing can begin, proving that the most powerful weapon against hatred is the quiet grace of understanding. Halfway through our profound countdown, the sixth gift emerges, the extraordinary ability to recognize the invisible tapestry of patterns. The mind of the INFJ is a silent, constantly running engine of observation. They collect stray details, an offhand comment, a slight hesitation, a minor delay in a project, and seamlessly weave them together to reveal a much larger picture. In cognitive psychology, this is known as implicit learning. While the rest of the world is entirely consumed by the present moment, the INFJ is already mapping out the future. They can predict outcomes long before the evidence is fully visible to others. It feels less like analytical calculation and more like a sudden prophetic realization. They are the vigilant watchers who sense the shifting tides of destiny. Because of this foresight, they are constantly shielding their loved ones and their organizations from impending disasters, steering the ship away from the rocks with a quiet, unshakable confidence that leaves others wondering how they possibly knew what was coming. The fifth gift is their sacred approach to deep, enduring relationships. An INFJ has no interest in collecting superficial acquaintances to boost their ego. They reject the shallow, transactional nature of modern networking. Instead, they seek soul-to-soul connections. There is a profound concept in Buddhist and Korean philosophy known as inyan, the invisible red thread of fate that connects individuals across time and space. The INFJ treats every genuine friendship as a sacred inyan. They do not open the doors to their inner sanctuary easily. But when someone proves their authenticity, the INFJ responds with an ocean of unwavering loyalty. Relationship science confirms that this reciprocal, profound self-disclosure is the absolute bedrock of a bond that can withstand any tragedy. In a world of disposable connections, the INFJ builds fortresses of love. Their friendships weather the harshest storms of life, transcend geographical distance, and become a lifelong sanctuary where both souls can rest, heal, and completely belong. The fourth gift is an awe-inspiring psychological composure in the midst of absolute chaos. When a sudden crisis strikes and panic infects the masses, the INFJ experiences a radical shift in consciousness. Rather than being paralyzed by fear, their mind instinctively engages in cognitive reappraisal. They immediately step back from the emotional terror, reframe the catastrophe into a solvable challenge, and become the quiet eye of the hurricane. Think of the breathtaking resilience shown by ordinary citizens during times of profound national collapse, standing in long lines to donate their family gold to save their country from ruin. The INFJ channels that exact stoic, heroic composure. While others are weeping or screaming, the INFJ is the one quietly organizing the next steps, applying the bandage, and speaking words of absolute certainty. They absorb the shockwaves of the trauma so that others can find their footing. This supreme calmness in the face of devastation is not just a trait. It is a rare, life-saving psychological advantage that turns tragedy into a testimony of endurance. The third gift is the magnificent alchemy of combining boundless imagination with surgical logic. For most people, the brain is divided. You are either a dreamer lost in the clouds or an analyst bound to the earth. But the INFJ dances perfectly between both worlds. They operate like the ancient symbol of the Taeguk, beautifully balancing the yin of deep, abstract intuition with the yang of rigorous, critical analysis. They will experience a sudden, wild flash of visionary inspiration, and in the very next breath, they will systematically dismantle it, testing every structural weakness to ensure it can survive in the real world. This dual mastery allows them to produce work of profound genius. Whether they are writing a screenplay, designing a business strategy, or offering life advice, their creations are never just beautiful illusions. They are beautifully engineered realities. This rare synergy of heart and mind, of poetry and mathematics, quietly powers the most original and breathtaking contributions they offer to society. The second gift brings us to their almost supernatural ability to read the unsaid. Long before anyone else in the room notices a shift, the INFJ is processing a symphony of microsignals. The slight tightening of a jaw, a half-second hesitation before answering a question, the hollow pitch in a laugh that attempts to hide a broken heart. Psychologists study this through the reading the mind and the eyes tests, but for the INFJ, it is simply their daily reality. They do not need to hear the words because they are already reading the soul. Their hypersensitive nervous system catches the faintest blips of discomfort or deception. This allows them to step in and offer grace precisely when it is needed most, often saving people from embarrassments or hidden pains they could not vocalize. It is a gift of supreme empathy, ensuring that no one in their presence ever truly suffers in silence, because the INFJ hears the tears that never fall. And finally, the rarest and most profound gift of all, the absolute capability to understand the deepest motives of the human heart. Psychologists refer to this as the theory of mind, but in the life of an INFJ, it is nothing short of profound spiritual insight. They see straight through the masks, the social armor, and the carefully constructed lies. They look at a person and instantly recognize the childhood wounds, the unspoken fears, and the desperate desires that are truly driving their behavior. They build a living, breathing map of human trajectories in their mind. This allows the INFJ to offer a type of forgiveness and grace that baffles ordinary people. When someone acts out in anger, the INFJ does not retaliate, because they know the anger is merely a cry for love. The ultimate intuition is the crown jewel of the INFJ personality. It is the ability to look at a flawed, broken human being, look past all their mistakes, and see the divine struggling soul beneath. It is a gift that quietly heals, protects, and redeems the people lucky enough to walk beside them. Across these magnificent gifts, a profound truth emerges. The INFJ personality type shapes the very fabric of our world, not through force, not through volume, but through the quiet, relentless power of empathy, intuition, and grace. Their strengths do not demand the spotlight, yet they are the invisible pillars that uphold the dignity of our communities. They remind us that the most powerful forces in the human experience are entirely invisible. Love, understanding, and the quiet courage to hold on to hope. If you possess these gifts, know that your quiet presence is a tremendous blessing to a noisy, aching world. Do not hide your depth.
Embrace it.
For your subtle differences are exactly what this world desperately needs to heal. Thank you for joining us on this deep exploration of the mind and soul. May your journey be filled with profound peace, unshakable purpose, and the beautiful grace of being truly understood. If this message resonated with the quiet truths of your own heart, we warmly invite you to subscribe, like, and share this journey with someone who needs to hear it. May grace and wisdom walk with you today and always.